I played in 2 or 3, and I'd worked with Disney for a while, and right on the set, I just worked with them, and I was a gunslinger, you know, and then the smog started to bother me. At first, okay, but it started to bother me, just getting into my eyes and everything. It's just getting worse. So I told the agent that was with me, and she said that, well, if it's better for you, if you want to quit, I'll still stay on as your agent, she said. But if we need you, we'll call you. So I said, I'm going home, and I just packed up my stuff, got in my car and took off. There didn't look back. I didn't look back. I just kept right on coming. I got back home, and I went out to my dad's place, ranch, back at the old place. And told him about my eyesight and everything. And here the Hollywood called me and told me I could work from home. If I wanted to work in the movies and work from home, we'll contact you as soon as we get a part for you. Your agent will get a hold of you. She's still your agent. So I said, okay. So that's how it come by.
Can you tell us again how many movies you've made, and what are 2 or 3 of those movies that are your favorites?
Well, my first movie was with Clark Gable and Claire Bow. They were pretty good friends of mine then, you know, and then I got acquainted with Earl Flynn and played in pictures, with a couple of pictures with him, Crazy Horse and Captain Blood. And altogether, we played in Indian movies and Western movies, mostly. War Bonnet and Victor Maturigan, and War Drums and River of No Return with Maryland, and Wagon Wheel Drive with what's his name, John Wayne. I always remember him as One Shot John. The reason I called him One Shot John was, and that name stuck with him for a while. I'm making a picture, and there's supposed to be a river, a shallow river. A bunch of Indians, they were whooping and yelling, you know, they're just coming across that river. And John was supposed to shoot one, and that leader was supposed to fall into the water. But they didn't tell him just exactly who they selected as leading that. So when they started to cross, boy, they were whooping and yelling across that river. They gave him a signal. So they nodded at him, so they pointed at him just like this. So John, he took one shot, and about 10 of them fell. The director was really mad. I called him One Shot John, you know. And they started laughing, and that name stuck with him for a while. And it was good. We had some things like that happen, during your pictures, boo-boos. It's still good. We had a lot of fun, though, as times. And we played in Flaming Arrow, and War Bonnet. We had some pretty good ones.
And how was it you came to meet Marilyn Monroe?
Oh, it was my agent was the one that said, could you come over and play in that River of No Return? So I said, yeah, sure. So I went over. They sent me the script, so I studied the script. And here, I didn't know that she was going to be there at first. I studied my part of it. And when I got over there, she was there, so... oh, you're going to play this? She said, yes. And then one weekend, something happened to the machine. I don't know. They had to go back to Hollywood to get parts. It wasn't like this. In those days, they had reels.
Yeah.
And something happened to the reels or something. And they had to go back to Hollywood, get another machine or something. And then left the weekend. So I jumped in my car and I thought I'd go to Durango just to go dancing, I started out and somebody hollered at me, so I looked back and here to Marilyn. She says, where are you going? So I said, I'm going down to Durango for a week, the weekend. I'll be back, I said. Wait a minute, she said. She went in her stateroom. And here she come out with this small suitcase. Let's go, she says. So we went to Durango, about 200 miles, I guess. We went, and there was a big band playing there. And we danced. We had a lot of fun. Boy, we stayed there at the motel there, and we danced. That's all we done. But she was really happy. Oh golly, this is the first time nobody comes around for autographs or anything. She said I had a lot of fun. She said she had dark rimmed glasses, with dark glasses, without really any kind of focus. Dark rimmed glasses and a bandana, and her hair was braided, And they thought she was just an ordinary girl. Nobody asked me if they could call me Francis or something. So that's what I did. I called her Francis, but we had a lot of fun. Nobody messed around with us for autographs or anything, And, boy, we had a lot of fun there for 2 days. And then the third, we had to go back to the set, so we had to go. And then we went dancing after that in Hollywood. I don't know how many dances we went to. But I went to her funeral too, way afterwards, of course. There was a bunch of Hollywood people there, but Joe, he boasted. And I looked around me, but there was nobody around me, so I went like that. And here he said, nodded his head. So I went over there. And here he said, you better go see your friend for the last time. She used to talk about you. And so I went over there. She was in the casket, Marilyn. Yeah, she was a heck of a nice girl. She was not like they say she is in the newspaper and all that stuff. She's been killed. But she wasn't not a dopey or anything like that, like they say she is. She wasn't that way. I was with her. But she was a good friend.
Any other questions? I think we just did a remarkable, this whole last several hours has been remarkable.
There's one thing I always like to say too.
Please do.
That the people don't realize that there's about 3 different ways of life that we're living here on the reservation. There's a good part of it, then there's a bad part of it. Then there's some people who are really not our people that's running the governments. And no Indian president or chairman or anything has been running our government. And none of the Indian people has anything to do with the government. They gave the Indian that the government they made for the federal department. They got in there, and at first in 1934 they gave that government. They brought that government on. Has anybody else that you interviewed did anything about it?
About which?
The governments?
About
the different government?
The different government?
No.
Okay. So this government came into view. At first, when it first started, 1934, they had first 2 chairmen were Indians, full-blood Indian people, men. When their time was up, the non-Indians took over. It's calling it an Indian government. But we came out of there, and they gave them 50 years to improve these reservations. They gave them 50 years, the government. Came along, and they didn't do anything, just the same old reservation. And they was going to take that government away from them then. But they begged and begged and begged, and so they gave them 25 more years to upgrade this reservation. If you can't do it, well, that's the end. So 25 years. It was up last year. It was up. Nothing has ever been done but raise their own wages, the councilmen. That's where all the money went. And we get 7% of it. And they get 90% of it. So now they're on the edge. The state is stepping in to take over. I don't blame them. But if the government really kept their word, we kept ours. We said we'll never take arms again, fight no more. That's what Crazy Horse, that's what the promise he made. And we're still living up to it, putting away our weapons. But they took our weapons away from us, and they started killing us. Like a wounded knee. But that's a conspiracy. That's not Red Cloud's conspirator. They brought that on to kill Bigfoot. They killed Crazy Horse and they killed Sitting Bull. And they did not kill White Bull, my grandfather, because he was over here. He kept a low profile, never talked. So they left him alone. But there's still, after the 25 years was up, they're still there, but the government does not realize, they don't remember, I don't think they remember that that was a deal that they made. Obamas don't seem to know about it. But now, since the Indian people wrote to Obama explaining this from here, explaining it to them, now he's on to it. So the state took over here and Rosebud. And next is Standing Rock and Cheyenne River. But nobody tells us about it. They're keeping it from the Indian people. They know about it, but they think we don't know, but we know about it. Anything but we're keeping a low profile. We don't want to bring it out. They can't blame us because the traditional people, because they're the one that's bringing it onto themselves, but not by not improving what the responsibility that they've given them. They didn't do it, so they can't. They couldn't blame us. If we had it, it would have been different. We could have taken care of the people, or we just could have been way down instead of way up like they got. They're getting $4,000 a month, and they work 4 days out of the month. So that's how much money they're getting. But if we, the chiefs, if we had it, we never did get any money for what we do. Instead, we do what the people want us to do. So we still do that for nothing. We don't get paid for it. But that's okay. At least the people are realizing that. Those are the things that I wanted to bring out. But
well, thank you. You did a great job. Great job, really. Thank you so much.
I learned.
when folks go to the sweat lodge and they pray, are you getting this? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. This, when they go to the sweat lodge, they sing, they smoke, pipe, and they sing and they pray for themselves. The men do, because they have no way to purify themselves. So that's what they do. They have a ceremony inside of the sweat lodge. They really sweat it out. But women don't have to. They cannot go with the men in the sweat lodge. That's prohibited. It's Sioux Indian prohibition. They go in the sweat lodge, the women do, but they don't hold no ceremony. They just sweat, that's all. Because women purify themselves every month. They purify every month, so they don't have to purify themselves. That's the reason why men and women go separately to the sweat lodge, never together. If it's against the Sioux Nation, when the chiefs take over, they're going to bring all that back. And they're going to have, they can't be having sun dances like they're having now all over, about 10 10 or 10, 10 each one, 10 sun dances, you know, they have just, and then they sit alongside the shade and smoke and drink pop and eat ice cream or something during the sun dances. If my grandfather's ever seen that, they'd cry. But in those days, and when the chiefs take over, all that's going to stop. They're going to have a Sundance Society that they're going to have to come get permission to Sundance. And they're going to ask them, why? How are you going to dance? Why are you going to dance? For the people or for yourself? These are the questions we're going to give them. And if it's for themselves, you'll have to wait till the next group has Sundance for the people, what the people needs. It's going to be pretty strict. These do things the right way. That's why we're having all this drought and all that stuff. Never like the good old days where the grass used to be green. And the people doing things wrong is the reason why we're having earthquakes and cyclones and hurricanes all around us. All around us. Where we live, nothing happens. Tornadoes have jumped over this place. They went over to hit near Oceti, and it went on, but it never tore up anything. They just went. But along Texas, one time, New York, Los Angeles, one time I was making a speech, I told them, I said, you know what, we should reclaim this country. Reclaim this country, all but New York, Texas, and Los Angeles. Why? Why don't you want to claim this? Too far gone, I said. You're too far gone, so we don't want to claim it. They all started.
Texas in that. I'm glad. A lot of people would agree with that.
We claimed those, we made it hurricanes and cyclones and everything. We said. That's why they're getting after them because of that.
Yeah.
Taking them. But what we believe, the Indian people believe strongly, it's coming true. My grandfather told me, white people's been running this country in the past since immigration. They've been running it. But the day the color changes, the white people have been running it. The day the color changes, they're going to lose America. That's what my grandfather said. They're going to lose America. America, they're going to lose it. And he says, it used to be red, white, blue. Red, white, and blue. You see that? He said, red, Indian people, white, the white people, blue, the universe. Red, white, and blue. Today, it's black and white. So there's no red in it.
Yeah.
But if they let us have it, we'll turn back the clock, he says.
So this must be kind of an exciting time in some ways for you to think about that turning back of the clock, and is that, how do you feel about that?
Well, if they had came over here when they came, if they had lived our Indian way of life, it'd still be okay. The country would be all right. But they changed it. rules and regulations, law. It's not ours. Everything has been changed by books. We do things by nature, verbal history, and everything. Our history has never been told. Indian history has never been told. Only verbally to grandkids has been told. If that our history is, we know the European history real good because it's been taught every day, European history. But our history has never been told in books or anything, so it's most of them don't know their own history. Indian kids, they don't know their own history, their language, or nothing. Everything is forgotten. That's the reason why. Just like Josie, when she first came here, she didn't know nothing. She said, one thing, she always, everything. When she first came here, everything, now. Everything has to be on time. Everything. Now she's been here for a while, and all that is gone. And she always says, what time are we going to do that? Indian time, she says. Good old Indian time.
Good answer.
So it's that way. She forgot that now deal. You know? That's why when she starts it, I never pay attention.